morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How are we doing today?
John Johnson.
Mr. Ben Williams, the man, the myth, the legend. How are we doing today, man?
Dude, fantastic. Fantastic. Is this going through my headset again?
What'd you say?
Can you hear me pretty well?
Yeah, I think you have it on the laptop mic, but it's coming in clear.
Yeah. Let's see if I can fix this.
There should be a microphone with a little arrow pointing down, and from there you should be able to select under input device which device you want to use.
Oh,
Mr. Fazio,
Good morning, fellas.
What's up, brother?
there it is. Man, ladies and gentlemen, we've got already 23 people joining us off the rip.
Dude, this thing's popping off.
Oh yeah. We're gonna send out an announcement. Today is Thankful Thursday. I want everybody to share one thing
All
that
right.
they are thankful for in the side chat, or if you feel inclined to jump up on the stage and talk to us.
Me and Matt got to make that call. We got to call that VA guy back.
What VA guy?
There's a VA over on a house. I was working yesterday on the stream, and he said he needs to take calls between 8 a.m. and 12. So we got like 30 minutes to call him.
You want to call him live?
Yeah, but I want Matt. Me and Matt was going to get in here with me because he was going to help talk this guy through some stuff that he was having misconceptions with that I don't fully understand, that Matt can better explain, but I think I got the guy's trust up a little bit. So
Awesome.
What kind of deal is it, Dan?
sub 2.
Yeah,
So
I just found my first sub 2 this morning that I'm about to do. I've never done one.
2.25% interest rate. I did a lot of wraps last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to connect with.
Mostly because of Matt. Mostly because of Matt and Bob. And I closed a couple. I closed the sub 2 deal with Matt, and closed a couple last year. Just assignments. And then we did like over 10 wraparounds right now.
Yeah, I think sub 2 is going to be the next thing that I really want to like craft in and learn well.
I had 1 month. I can't remember last year. It was like 1 month. It was like October or like something around there. Like October or November, I did like over 50K in wraparound mortgages.
Whew.
Did you get cash flow from it?
No, because the problem was is that with those is the interest rates weren't fantastic, but we couldn't really. Bob told me we'd have to do like short term, and I didn't want to do that, so we just wrapped it around, gave them the payment, and they just asked for cash up front.
But you mirror wrapped it, so if they like don't make payments, you could foreclose and get that
Correct.
title back.
Yeah, but everybody's making payments right now.
That's cool. How do you monitor that?
That's
How
incredible.
do you stay on top of these people?
Right now, I got my guy used to work inside my old company, Mario. He manages it for me, so he manages all the accounts. But it's like 8 accounts right now. He just has the we have the login access for the mortgage from the seller. So he has like the login access for the management.
Oh, so you can monitor the payments being made and making sure everything's cool.
So he just checks it. He just checks it at the end of each month, just make sure that the payments are being made. Like we had a problem on one in whatchamacallit, I actually invited the girl to the seller. I invited her to the community. I don't know if she actually, I think she did join, but I don't think I don't hear from her anymore. I don't really know what she's doing, but she wanted a wholesale, and I told her to get in here, and we would teach her, but kind of she just kind of disappeared a little bit. But so I but we had an issue back in December, like the first couple payments, like the buyer wasn't like the guy on the back end wasn't making the payments, and so we had to kind of put some pressure on him. But I think he's doing short-term rentals with it.
Yeah, very important to stay on top of these buyers. We were actually just talking about that just a second ago. Was that for a seller to sell sub 2, they are taking a major risk in giving somebody their title, and they assume they just continue to have that debt in their name. All it takes is one bad actor, and it's very important to make sure that you structure these deals and assign them correctly and safely, because it just takes one bad apple to say that they're going to put down earnest money, make a down payment one time, and then hold that seller hostage, ruin their credit, and have that house in their name ultimately. But I think we're doing a great job of really educating the community and setting the industry standard. I think Matt's really doing a great job of really educating people how to do this business safely. Bob has always been a great advocate, in making sure you're doing mirror wraps and protecting your interest, protecting the seller's interest. So I'm confident, that everybody in REI Rev is going to have more than they need to be able to do this business correctly.
Matt and Bob helped me a lot last year with the deals that we structured. Matt put me on with some extra paperwork that I didn't have. And Bob helped me with what we use for our qualification process now for wraps.
That's awesome. Yeah, I got another potential sub 2, just outside of Austin. I'm waiting to get some more information from the guy, but he's upside down. He's looking to get out of this situation, and I think that it's going to be another situation to make 15, 20 grand, maybe more.
There's always the potential for more.
I do like that potential.
That's right. How about this? So I'm filing my VA claim right now because I got med boarded out of the military. So like the VA will call me all the time, and I have this lady that supervises my file, and she called me today, and she's been looking for a property where I live. She wants to buy like a $2.3 million house on the water. I hardly take listings, but I literally just got a $2.3 million listing on the water, and I'm literally going to double side it, and she's going to buy it. She's my VA lady.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that's cool. That's more of like a traditional deal, but yeah.
And where are you licensed?
South Carolina and Delaware.
Okay. Where is this one at?
This is in South Carolina. It's in North Charleston.
Mm-hmm.
It's like literally, it'll literally be the highest price house that's ever been sold in the county as far as a residential sale.
Wow.
I'll literally do the buy side and the sell side.
Congratulations.
Yeah, dude, I'm hype about it.
Well,
Kyle, are you from North Charleston? Some guy just commented North Charleston, Dan.
That just kind of goes to show the benefit of getting your license and being an agent. You have access to, getting yourself involved with more types of deals.
Oh, dude, every deal I touch, I always tell myself I'm getting paid one way or another. Like whether it's cash, whether it's novation, whether it's sub 2, whether it's going to be a listing. Like I'm going to catch the referral fee, if anything. Like I always assure that I get paid if I talk to a seller.
Yeah.
So
that's smart.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. I lived in Colombia for, no lie, dude. I lived in Colombia the first 8 months that I was out of the military, and I lived in a camper, and I was broke as shit. And then I literally did that. I moved to Charleston.
Well, you were living in a camper in Colombia?
Colombia, South Carolina, not South America.
Oh, I was like, bro,
that would be wild, though, right?
You gotta live in a camper in Colombia. You really ain't making no money.
I should have clarified.
And I know.
Yeah, no, that would be a hell of a story, though.
Even when I was broke, I could have probably afforded a home in Colombia.
What's crazy? He said. He said, "I bet I know what campground." What's crazy is it wasn't a campground. I was renting a vacant lot. It was terrible.
Wow.
That was the bottom. That was the bottom.
You know, it's crazy you mentioned that is that I've been sending out some text messages to people with vacant lots. And yeah, I was negotiating one yesterday. But how much were you paying, to just, set your RV there?
Well, what I had to do. Oh my God, I forgot about this. I literally had to go to the guy that owned the land, and I was like, "Look, man, I only have like $300. I had like $700 total to survive," and I was like, "I'll pay you whenever I move out. Like, I'm good for it. I swear to God." And so I closed like a wholesale deal, and I ended up giving him like $2,000, I think. But I was only there for 5 months, and
Wow.
and so he was happy with it.
2K, 5 months?
Yeah, and I mean, it just felt
$300 a
because it
month?
was like he kind of he believed in me too. So it was like, all right, cool. I'll kind of because I probably owed him maybe $800 in total for what he would usually get.
Yeah.
So
We got a happy Matt in the chat. We got Mr. Matt Riley, the creative genius. Ben, I was going to actually see, how we could work that deal together. Matt's the
let's do it.
sub 2 guy, It sounds like this guy wants to get out of his mortgage, so I was figuring, if there's any way we could work on this together,
Yeah.
cool. But if not, at least I can connect
Absolutely,
with Matt.
absolutely, dude. I have no idea how to do it. I literally the second I got on the phone with him this morning, and he told me he was like, "Man, I just want out from under. I don't care if somebody just takes it over." When he said
Yeah.
that, I immediately was like, "I need someone to help me through this because I know the idea, but I've never done one." So I'm all
And that
down.
just goes to show, man, like we were literally having a conversation about creative yesterday, right? So I'm sure your ears were kind of open listening to that, and then you
Exactly.
automatically
Exactly.
thought, like, oh, well, I now have a solution to this guy's problem.
Yep.
Guys,
So-
you've got to be here, ladies and gentlemen. This is the #1 most valuable real estate community in existence. Just being in here has changed the game for Ben literally overnight. He's already about to negotiate another sub 2 deal. I mean, these types of opportunities only come around if you're ready to find them. Mr. Matt Riley, can you join us up on the stage today? I don't know. Maybe he's on mobile and he can't hear us.
Me and Matt gotta call this guy before it's too late.
Here he is.
15 minutes.
Here he is,
There
folks.
he is.
Mr. Matt,
Yo,
what's good, brother?
Encouraging everybody not to move federal off the rip.
what's going on, boys?
Excited, man.
Hanging
Get
out,
that
hanging out.
camera on. There you go. Domino effect. Domino effect. There they are.
Where's Dan?
The
Let me-
Dude, the
boys.
positive, positive peer pressure.
Camera ain't working today. No, I'm joking.
Uh,
I'm joking,
He's trained us.
Oh.
No. What's
He
up?
hit us
What's
with the
up?
steez.
What's up? I gotta get my stream labs here.
We got Dante in the audience. What's going on, Dante? Man, we got hella hitters today.
And I'm surprised.
Nonsense.
So what's your cash then, primarily, or novations?
Cash and novations is all I really do. Never done sub 2. I've negotiated one, but I didn't do the paperwork and I didn't finish it up. Somebody else did it.
Team did it, or whoever, transaction
Yep.
coordinator.
Yep.
Boys are in effect. Look at this.
There we go.
All right, man. We're making
Here
we're
we
making
go.
this call. We're making this call or what? Making this call.
Do I need any details or
Ready?
no? Can I just wing it?
You may send you the address or
Sure.
yes.
You just sounded a little mean on the. I want to make sure I have.
He is.
enough
He's
information.
He's a little mean.
Yeah. So I know that I don't want to. I like to be not aggressive on the phone, but I like to be assertive. And if he catches me on something, then I will have no
It
room
sucks.
to be the assertive one, and then the momentum will change on me.
Ben was talking about that yesterday.
Oh.
You know, like shoving the seller. You know, tell these guys.
Yeah, you have to.
Yep.
Just because you got to remember, most of these sellers have probably already talked to 2 other people that don't know what they're doing, so they're not taking the people on the phone serious anymore. And you have to be like, "Hey, I'm the
Yep.
guy that you take serious."
Yeah. And that's why I always try to have
Yeah.
the information I need at least on the phone, where they have a little bit of numbers ran. Dan, what's this guy? Did you get offer price out of him or no?
He says that he claims he wants 460 cash, but even with 460 cash after everything, first of all, we can't do 460 cash. He's saying he can sell it on the market for 460 to 480. That's what realtors are telling him. That's bullshit. He can't sell it for that. But even if he did, he would still only walk away with $4,000 after everything is what he thinks. But what he doesn't understand is that if he goes on market, that he has to pay his costs. And so he's saying Gary popped up again. I don't want to fucking talk to that. Never mind. I gotta remember. We're not in the we're not in the private chat.
He said,
Man, yeah. Let me talk about. I don't want to talk. Gary ain't got no. He ain't got no business talking to me.
You heard what he said.
Gary, tell him, man. It's
We're gonna put on the
similar.
shirt, y'all.
Yeah. Gary ain't got no business.
YHWTNS.
Anyways, I gotta talk. Me and Matt gotta talk to Skeeter. I told him, and he was like, "Oh, I'm walking away with $4,000 cash after everything." I said, "Bro," I said, "Do you understand that you're not gonna be walking away with $4,000, even if you sold it for 460, and it probably won't sell for 460." So, but what if I give you like, he has a 2.25% interest rate now. So what if I give you around $15,000 in cash? If you had $15,000 in cash, now that is for sure, right? And so he was like open to it after that. But then he was like, "Oh, I don't know you. I don't trust you. I'm not gonna ruin my credit like that. And if I have one VA loan, I can't have another VA." So
that's the part of the conversation.
That's the whole problem. So that's what we need to, like. We just need to put him on to the process. I can even have my title company, if we have Zachary Scott, get in touch with him so that he can hear from an attorney that we are both legit. Here's the thing, is like, she's worked with both of us now, so now we have double.
I got a file open with her right now.
Yeah, so we got double clarification on there. She's closed sub 2 deals with us before, so and I explained that to him, and that put him a little bit more at ease. But I think when I kept handling his objections more and more, then he kind of got nervous, and then he was just like, "Well, I gotta go. I work with dogs or whatever," and then he said, "You call me back tomorrow between 8 a.m. and 12."
We got dogs in common. We're good.
He trains like he trains canine units or something like that. So.
Oh yeah. Dude.
All right. Well, I'm gonna call him right now. I'm gonna see if he answers, and then I'll connect you.
Okay. This is who? His name is Dale, right?
Skeeter. His name is Skeeter.
Skeeter?
Skeeter, yeah.
Yeehaw!
Yeah, let's say.
It had Dale on the title. Dale's on the title.
Yeah. But maybe Skeeter's his nickname?
Maybe Skeeter's his nickname.
That's a cool. I like
his email is his email is papaskeeto1@gmail.com.
Papaskeeto. Oh, this man. Did you talk to your guy any further from yesterday, the Austin or outside Austin guy?
Sent him a text. Haven't called him yet, but he's good for it. I know. I can. You can tell when somebody is gonna do business with you. You know what I'm saying? This guy's gonna do some business with us.
You're trying to give him that.
He's gonna make the right decision and do some business with John Jones and Matt Ryan and whoever we assign the deal to.
Hello.
Oh shit.
Hey, Skeeter, it's Dan.
How are you?
Doing good. I know you told me to call you back today to kind of continue our conversation from yesterday. So I just wanted to see if you have some more time right now to kind of discuss.
I just talked to you on the phone, didn't I? Oh, no. Never mind. This is someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's talking to me about wanting another guy named Dan wanting me to do a AI with him. I said, dude, I ain't got no idea what the hell you even talking about. He wouldn't get off the phone. So I said, okay, you go ahead and talk when you're all done wasting your time. And I'm like, hey, no, thank you.
No,
He
yeah.
kept talking.
We talked
Okay,
yesterday.
go ahead. Yeah, well, yeah, you caught me during dog training.
During the dog training. Yeah. So I wanted to call you back today because, I have my guy Matt with me in the office today. And so we were going to kind of go over a little bit more of so he could explain to you more on the VA loan situation, because I know that's the one thing that you were worried about with what we were discussing yesterday. So he's going to be more of your mortgage expert in terms of he helps me with basically structure these types of deals. So that way we can make sure that you're going to get your money, and then he's also going to be able to explain the details. And then, like I told you, I'm more than happy to get my attorney connected with you so that she can verify my purchase history and our transactions that we do in the state of Florida. So that way you can get some credibility behind me, and you're not just taking a leap of faith. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like I said, I really don't know you well enough to.
Right. No, it makes sense. It makes sense, but you know what I mean. But it would make more sense if you have an attorney who closes thousands of deals a year in the state of Florida verify my credibility, so that way she can kind of put some some cred on my name. So that way you're trusting my company, you're not trusting me as an individual, right? So it makes it a little bit more a better situation for you.
Viable.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if you have probably, do you have like 15 minutes for me to connect a call with me and Matt, so we can kind of go over the details and he can explain to you more, in a better situation, in better terms,
What's
how
going
everything
on?
would work. Yeah, how everything would go.
Go ahead.
All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna call you back on my cell phone, and then I'm gonna connect Matt into the call, because this is my business line. This is a landline, so I can't do a conference call on this for some reason, so I'm gonna have to.
I would know how to do it in the first place.
So no, I got you. So I'm gonna call you back on my personal cell. It's gonna be a 304 area code, and
Okay.
and then I'm gonna patch Matt in. Once we're connected, I'll connect him into the call, and then we'll go from there. Okay.
All right. I look forward for your call.
All right. Give me 5 minutes. I'll be right back with you.
All right. Bye.
He was better today.
He's in a good mood.
He was
much better mood today.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
he's better today. All right.
Thank God. While you were talking, I was like, all right, what am I gonna say first and foremost to approach this guy? He's one of those guys, like, I feel like if he's in a bad mood, if you say the wrong thing, the whole conversation is screwed.
The whole conversation sounds like that guy from this morning clearly did not pitch the right solution.
Correct. Correct.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna call you on my cell real quick, and then we'll connect him into the.
To clarify, your conversations prior was if he were to sell in the open market, he's only walking away with about $4K, right?
That's what he said, but I told him he's not even gonna. What he doesn't understand is he's not even gonna get $4,000, because after he pays his costs to the realtor and to also for his half of the closing, he's not gonna get what he thinks he's gonna get. And then he could possibly even be coming out of pocket. No, yeah. See, you're asking yourself. You're like, am I looking at the right property? Yeah, you're looking at the right property. But he thinks that thing can sell for $460 to $480, because he said that's what a realtor told me. I said, well, the realtor is that realtor doesn't know what they're talking about. Either they're just trying to get your business, or they don't know what they're talking about. And he said something.
Men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie.
You heard what he said.
That's a fact.
What did Idris Alba said? Idris Alba said men rely. Men are attracted to looks, and females are attracted to values and expectations. That's why men will always
They hear.
Always wear makeup.
Yep.
Crazy line. All right. I'm gonna call you first, and then I'll connect him.
One of you might need to mute yourself.
I'm gonna mute. I'll mute Matt.
Right into this the other.
There you go.
Do I have to do anything on my side?
No. I muted your mic. I'm gonna connect him now in the call.
I'm gonna lower the volume on my computer because I have an echo.
Yeah, you could, yeah, or just turn my volume off.
User volume down. Okay. Hello.
Yeah, now it works.
Yeah. I got no echo.
All right, let me find this dude. Skeeter.
Can you guys still hear Dan though? Because I turned his view.
Hey, Skeeter, I'm gonna connect the call. What?
72983.
He didn't answer. I'm calling back. They can still hear me. You just turned your volume down for me.
Yeah, I didn't know if I had.
Please leave your message for 239287298.
What the hell? He's not answering the phone.
Is it ringing?
It rings one time and then it goes straight to voicemail. I don't know what's let me
Call me.
let me see if I can just call him.
I was like, call him and then just call me and I'll
Yeah.
I don't like doing live calls.
Please leave your message for.
It just goes straight to
What
voicemail,
the-
like he's on like do not disturb or some shit.
Yeah, usually.
Let me text him.
Yep. How you guys doing? Just wanted to come on here and roast Mr. Fozzie a little bit. He was roasting me yesterday in the show. Got my first contract, baby.
Hey, roast me at your own warning.
Is it me?
Oh, he's calling me right now, Matt.
All right.
Hey, Skeeter.
I'm gonna.
Yep.
Hey, let me call Matt real quick.
Okay.
All right, here we go. All right, can everybody hear me?
Yes, sir. So far.
All right, we got you. Sounds good. So, Skeeter, this is Matt Riley. He's my go-to expert here to help me with structure these types of deals that I was telling you about just a little bit ago. So, I wanted him to talk with you, maybe a little bit more in detail to kind of, reassure you on some things that I know that you were concerned with, because this is pretty much all he does on a regular basis is deal with these types of transactions. So he always kind of helps me, in terms of if there's any kind of sticky situations or anything like that. So I'll kind of let you two, I'll let you guys kind of get acquainted. Skeeter, if you want to explain like your current, mortgage and HELOC situation to Matt, so that he can just have a clearer understanding to make sure I haven't really translated anything in the wrong sense or anything like that, and then we can just kind of go from there.
Okay. Well, basically, Matt, what I got is I've got a VA loan, a assumable loan as long as it's a veteran for my house. I refinanced it about 7 years ago at 280. And then I took a HELOC out about maybe a year ago, just under a year ago, for $70,000 to do some repairs to the house. And then I have a $77,000 loan out against the house for an off-grid solar panel, a solar system. And when I was talking to Mark earlier, in order for me to get completely out from underneath this and buy another VA loan, the VA is not going to give me another loan until this one is paid off. And I got to have somewhere in the neighborhood about 40, somewhere 460, somewhere in that neighborhood, which we already talked about, to get everything paid off, credit cards, the whole 9-bit and all, to where I'm back at ground zero to start with. So,
But he also needs some money like he needs some cash in his pocket, just so you're aware, Matt. Like that's kind of what we were discussing yesterday, is because like even if he goes on market, he's still not going to walk away with that much, or with very very little or not that much. Even if he sells for 460 to 480, it's not going to be a fair enough cash to him in his pocket at the end of the day, because of the amount of payoffs. And then, if he goes on market, then he's got the realtor fees and all that stuff. So I was trying to see if maybe we could structure some sort of sub-2 situation where I could put more money in his pocket, so I could get him some more cash that's pretty much guaranteed. And then that way he wouldn't have to worry about that. Then he could actually come out with more at closing. And then, but his whole concern is just the sub-2 loan and the HELOC and everything, and how that would all work with him, going to another property.
100%. First and foremost, Peter, I appreciate you getting on a call with us this morning. Dan mentioned you were something like a dog trainer, or you train dogs?
yes, I do. I did search and rescue dogs in the military, and I do service dogs now for the veterans.
Beautiful, man. That's awesome. What kind of dogs do you primarily work with?
Any breed, as long as they're not little ankle biters, because they're not going to perform or do the duties that a service dog would normally need for a veteran or one of their family members.
Oh yeah, no. He mentioned you were dog training. That's awesome what you do. I was gonna say, can I send over my two little my two dumpster dogs I got over here that need some training for the last 10 years.
What kind are they?
One's a boxer. She's a boxer pit. She's like 11 years old, and then my other guy, he's just like a blue nose pit. They're both rescues from Chicago, but
we know what that's not be the better dogs anyways, because they're rescues.
Yeah. They're naturally good, but I want you to, put a foot where, you put some sense in them. They could use a little bit. They don't listen to me anymore. So, but I heard that and my ears perked up the way that a dog's ears perked up, and I was like, maybe I'll just send them on down. We do this deal. I'm going to send them down in a U-Haul so you can put them in shape for me.
Okay.
So I appreciate you sharing all that information for me. First and foremost, your situation is not uncommon, right? It's not a non-unique or a unique situation, I should say. I would say most of the deals that I do when we're structuring this type of thing is with a veteran on a VA loan, because most of the time, as you already know, most of the time it's a VA loan. You're putting $0 down. There might be a chance where you're moving 6 to 12 months later, so there's no equity built up because you didn't put any money down. So most of the people that want to do this type of transaction or are interested in it are veterans with VA loans. I would say the biggest hang up is what you already mentioned, and it's that VA entitlement credits, right? So you have entitlements wrapped up in that property. And so in order to go purchase another VA loan, now I don't know what your current entitlement scenario is. You have, let's just say, we're going to use round numbers here. Let's say,
okay, let me hold you up right there.
Yes, sir.
My first marriage 40-something years ago lasted about three and a half to 6 years, 3.5 years roughly.
Okay.
And she got the house and everything and this and that. And back then it was like, screw the guy. And I was in Texas. So she got the house and everything. It was on a VA loan, but she couldn't afford it to refinance it. She stayed in it for 10, 11 years, and then she let it go. So my full entitlement is gone unless I want to pay an extra $27,000 towards that entitlement to get 100% back. So that amount of my entitlement is gone. So in order to get more entitlement, my 60% entitlement back, I have to pay this loan off to get an entitlement again.
Okay, good. So you're well informed. Yeah, no, absolutely. You're well informed, which makes our job that much easier, right? You are fortunately and unfortunately much more informed than most people, just like anything else, right? Like I have a buddy from back home. He just bought a house a year ago. We went there for his housewarming party, and I was like, "Congratulations, man!" I was like, "What did you, what's your interest rate? What'd you guys lock in?" And he looked at his wife, and he's like, "I have no idea." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And I was like, "How much did you get a good down payment? Did you get?" And he kind of looked at her again. And he's like, "Dude, I don't know." He's like, "I just showed up to closing and I just signed the papers." And I was like, "Oh my goodness."
Oh,
okay.
Lord, you got rolled over.
Yeah, and I will say though that's unfortunately that's pretty commonplace for buyers in those scenarios. They kind of just know what their interest rate is, but they don't know the details like you do with, hey, I got this much entitlement out there. I need to do X, Y, and Z to get that back. So it makes my life a lot easier because now I got numbers in front of me that I can look at, because usually what we do in these scenarios, right? So let's say you are 100% tied up in this property with your entitlement. Now, you already know, I don't even have to explain it to you. The only true ways for me to restore your entitlement back to you is we satisfy this loan we come in with cash, or we bring our own loan and pay you off, right? So now your loan is restored, you get all your entitlement back. Or someone can assume your loan, but if they're a non-veteran, that's not going to restore your entitlement. A veteran can come and assume your loan, and that would restore your entitlement. But assumptions usually don't take place, because if your property is worth $500,000 and you got a $300,000 mortgage, that lender wants that buyer to bring $200,000 to closing to make up the difference between what you owe on that mortgage and what you're asking for. So most of the time, it doesn't make sense for a buyer to assume a loan because that difference is so big. They'd be better off just going to get their own loan and only bringing 3.5% down or whatever loan product they have available to them. So,
okay, now I want you to meet my current percentage rate.
You want me to meet or beat it?
You think you can?
Oh yeah, trust me, I agree. So there's always the math, right? Like I was just doing a deal yesterday where the difference was going to be, I think it was like $85,000 that would have had to get brought to closing for an assumption. And that loan was like 4.5%, right? Now I could go get my own loan for 3.5% and only bring like 20 grand to closing, but my rate is probably going to be 6.5 to 7%. So I understand, but
about a 3.25.
Yeah, and then so trust me, you have an interest rate that'll never be seen again. So my question in that scenario is, let's say I have to bring $80,000 to closing to buy yours, or I could bring 20. What's the math on how long would it take for me to spend that $40,000 or $60,000 difference? At what point am I at the break-even point? So assumptions are usually buzzwords that realtors use to sell. They put it in the listing description. They try to bring more attention to it. But once you get into the nitty-gritty of an assumption, sometimes they take 90, 100, 120 days to complete, and at the end of it, they can still fall apart. So I just went through one where it was 4 months, and at the end of it, the lender still said, no, we were too far apart. And so it wasted 4 months of my time, the seller's time. That seller wasn't making mortgage payments, unfortunately, so that was 4 months more of missed payments. So they were in a worse position than they were prior. So assumptions sound great on paper, but unfortunately, they just very, very rarely ever get done. And that's, if you were to list with an agent, they're likely going to say, oh, we'll put in the listing description, assumable loan, 2 point, you're going to get a lot of attention. But once they actually have to start filling out that paperwork and they see what they got to bring to the table, and it's a pain. So what I would like to structure is something so much simpler, but the only hurdle that we're going to have to cross is that entitlement credit. So what I do in these scenarios where instead of you getting this VA loan back, right? Let's say we were to satisfy, you get your VA loan back. Now you get to go purchase another property with a VA loan, $0 down. Would it make sense to you? And this is an answer only you can give. Would it make sense for you if we were able to pay you money at closing? You take that money, use it towards a traditional, just another loan product. So an FHA, a conventional 3.5%, whatever get whatever you have access to, take my money, use it as a down payment on that new property. Maybe you got some entitlement left too, so maybe you get a little help from VA from that, and then you got to bring the difference, but you can use whatever loan product, use my money. Then when we refinance or sell this property in the future, 3 years from now, 5 years, whatever that number is, now your underlying mortgage will be paid off when we refinance or sell in the future. Now that new property you're in, you can just refinance that new property into a VA if you want to. It might not even make sense for you to at that point, but you'd have access back to your VA at that point, and you'd probably have equity in that new property because you've been living there for a few years. So you can do a refinance if you want, get your VA back onto the new property, and now everything's right in the world again. So you might not get your entitlement back right away doing this, but what I can probably do is put money in your pocket so you take my money and just use it as a down payment on the new property. So that way you're not cutting a check to sell this property potentially or walking away with a very small number. You'll actually get more money this way. Go get a different type of loan product, use my money there, and then I'll refinance or sell this property in the future, and then you can refinance that new property in the VA. Do you think that's something that might make sense to you?
That sounds good, but my question would be how, I don't know how I want to say, they go and get a conventional loan, can't get a Fannie Mae or FHA because, again, that's backed by the government. So that's pretty much out. So it'd be basically conventional loan to a bank with X amount of dollars down. And say I get, just for shits and giggles with numbers, say I get a 7.3 interest rate. 5 years down the road, the interest rate hasn't gone down, and it's gone up. My question is, because right now where I'm at, I have the VA loan, and then my homeowner's insurance or my homeowner's taxes, because I have the quote VA loan and my disability, I get X amount of dollars off taking I can use off of my credit, my tax credit. With a conventional loan, I can't get that disability off of my company taxes.
I understand. Yeah, I understand. And trust me, these are the hurdles that are the most difficult. A veteran with a VA loan with a short time frame of living in a property, no equity, like these are the people I talk to. So these are the hurdles that, again, this is not a unique situation or scenario. And this is our role-playing scenario back and forth, right, of like what might make sense. Also, too, just so you know, I'm completely 1,000% comfortable not closing this transaction until you've spoken with the new lender and you get the green light from that lender on how we need to structure this deal, how much money you would potentially need for that other property. Let's get you set up, get the green light from that lender, because I would hate to ever tell you something that's not true, which, you know, I'm not speaking lies to you, but let's just say,
right.
I don't ever want to say, let's close this out, and then you think you got a great deal, you got some money in your pocket, and now you go talk to the lender, and that lender's like, man, you're shit out of luck. I don't know what to tell you. You're not gonna be able to buy this house, or you're gonna have to, you know, bring, you know, twice as much money, or whatever the scenario is, and now you're stuck because we already closed. So I'm happy to go under contract with you with specific terms, numbers, all of that. We take that to a lender, we show it to them, we get the green light from them, or we get the yellow light. Maybe the lender's like, hey, this can work, but we need to move this, we need to add this, we need to, you know, we're willing to work with a lender in that sense. And as long as it doesn't change anything for us, we're happy to structure it however it needs to. And then when they give you that green light, now we're good. Now we'll close both at the same time.
Okay, so the next question is, with this, whatever it is, however you say you're doing, you're going to do the financing. I'm not good with terminologies and all, but it's basically owner finance is the way I'm looking at it. Am I right?
In a way, you're on the right track, right? So this is getting into the weeds. It's like you don't even need, like, yes, you're pretty much correct. The only difference is, for me, the way that I think about it, owner financing, if you own your property 100%, right? You have no bank, you have no debt on it. You technically own 100% of that property, right? You own 100% of that equity. Right now, you only own technically about 5% of your home. The bank and the debt owns the other 95%. So you're going to get paid out that little bit of equity that you have at closing. So you're not really financing anything per se. The lender is. The debt that's on the property, they're financing it to me because we're going to create a note, a secondary note. So the same type of note that you have with your lender on that underlying mortgage, all of those documents that were created and approved and signed by you and the lender during that closing when you purchased, we're going to create the same exact thing on our side on the back end. So I'm going to pay you that little bit of equity, and then really it's not owner financing. It's kind of bank financing because your lender is the one financing the property for the next however many years. You've been paid out that little bit of equity you have. Again, if you were 100% and there was no debt on it, now we're owner financing. Now you're financing me your equity in that property. You're the bank in that scenario. Where in this, the bank is the bank, and I'm just financing it from them. They gave you a 30-year note, and you got 29 years left. Me and you are going to create a note together. My monthly payment to you every single month is going to be the same exact monthly payment that you owe on that property. My mortgage balance that we create on that note together is going to be the same exact debt that you have on that property. So it's going to, we call it a mirror wrap. It's going to mirror your underlying debt and obligations on that property. Monthly payment, interest rates, mortgage balance, everything. And
So
by doing so with that, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
By doing so with that, you haven't mentioned it, but DTI, debt to income, is sometimes an issue for a borrower, right? Maybe I know you mentioned credit card debt, so maybe your debt got a little bit high for whatever scenario. With us creating this note, because it's the exact terms of your underlying debt, we have the ability when that's created and recorded, we're going to offset your DTI on that property by 75 to 100% on day one because of that note that we're creating. Because it's the exact same terms and obligations and monthly payment as that underlying, you're going to have 75% of that DTI forgiven on that property. It will still show up on your credit report. I don't want confusion there. If anybody were to pull your credit, that mortgage and that debt will still show up, but you will have the supporting documents showing that there's a note in place and someone else is servicing that note. Somebody is responsible for that note in that property. Therefore, you can have 75% forgiven on that property. So you won't have DTI issues moving forward. Your biggest issue will be those entitlement credits for that VA loan. But again, if we can structure it in a way where
here's the thing.
Get the money at closing.
Here's the thing, Matt. I mean, he's in Lehigh Acres, which I'm not for sure if you're familiar with that area, individually, but in the Fort Myers and area and everything like that, because I just know because we've done a lot of deals in Cape Coral and Fort Myers area. And so the thing is for me is the reason I'm so interested is because of the fact that of where he's located, because right now they're probably at the lowest point because of the hurricane, 2 years ago. They're probably at the lowest point in their evaluation right now that they'll ever be. So as long as everything stays stable with the environment for the next 3 to 5 years, I mean, I can pay off his solar panel loan probably this year, and then in the next 3 to 5 years, I can most likely pay off the rest of that, and then potentially resell that property or just keep it and rent it out. So therefore, his entitlement credits could potentially get paid off in, I would say, definitely less than 5 years, as long as the environment stays stable. Like I said,
I agree with that as well. I second that. And speaking specifically for that area and that market, and whenever a seller asks me a similar, like, hey, when is this going to be done? My answer is usually somewhat similar to that regardless. I would say, and you can speak to any other real estate professional, that they might agree, the average sales cycle from the time that someone buys a property to the time that they're raising their hand saying, hey, we had some kids, we need a bigger house, a smaller house, we're going to a different city, whatever it is probably somewhere between 3 to 6 years. And I would say the average refinance cycle from the time that you buy a house to the time that you're saying, hey, man, maybe rates went down, maybe I got some equity, is probably around that same period of time, 3 to 6 years, especially FHA, 3.5% down. They're getting to that 20% equity mark right around year 6. So I would agree with Dan that, this is likely going to be refinanced or sold within that, that period of time of 3 to 6 years, 4 to 6 years, somewhere in that. And again, when that refinance or sale takes place in the future, that underlying mortgage and all of that debt of yours is satisfied, paid off, and then everything is restored back to you.
I mean, my whole thing is we're really close in price right now. Just so you understand, Skeeter. I mean, like, I'm not far off if your debt was lower, we could easily make this work. That's the whole thing of just why I'm trying to get more cash for you in pocket, because where I would be cash purchase wise right now, where the property is currently at, is I would probably be somewhere between 380 and 400, but that doesn't get you anything. You know what I mean? At closing, and then potentially you'd even be coming out of pocket for that. So the thing is, for me, for me to be able to get you cash at closing, to make sure that you actually have, not just a little bit of money, but you actually have walk away money to actually go and do something else with. It makes more sense for me to go this route for right now, but I'm already close. I'm already not that far off from purchasing the property altogether. I mean, that's why I'm saying to Matt, like, I don't even think that in years terms, I don't think you're going to be carrying that entitlement credit that long. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's not going to be a long period, because I'm already, probably just, 50 to 100,000 off from where it is right now. But I'd rather go ahead and get you the cash right now, so that you don't have to succumb to those payments every single month. And then that way, I should be able to be in a place where I can either pay off the property, refinance, or, most likely I'm just going to pay it off. And, because the value is going to make sense at that point, as long as, like I said, as long as it doesn't get hit by another hurricane, like, we're going to be able to take care of this in a short amount of time, because everything right here, you know how it is. Like, you live in Florida, I live in Florida. We know how it is.
Right.
Everything's going up in value every year, but it's not like they're not jumping up $100,000 every year, and it's going to slow down a little bit, but it's at the point where, yeah, we're spending more, that's for sure. But I just think overall, I think, I see a real potential in probably in 3 to 5 years. If I just hold on to it for that long, just make the payments, I can probably just go ahead and just pay it off at that point. So it's not like you're going to be hanging on to those entitlement credits forever, because we're already decently close in my blowing out price as is right now.
Here, I got both statements from last month for the mortgage and for the what do you want to call it, dividend for the solar. My mortgage is of 3/5 of 24. I owe 266, 626.94. That's principal balance or outstanding balance.
For what do you say? It's how much?
266.
Okay.
626.94.
Got it. Okay.
Okay, and then the solar, there's
I think you said 70. You said around 70, right?
yeah, the one I got was the paper that I have here is 2 months old. So and that's at 72 625.19.
Okay, and then we have a HELOC as well, right?
And the HELOC is just a year old. It's just a year old. So, and that was for 70. So you might as well figure the whole thing, because I haven't paid anything on interest on that. There's nothing but interest on that whole thing.
So we're
a year old. That was 30.
So we're right somewhere between 405 to 410 total payoff, somewhere around there. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and then somewhere in that general area, and then I've got right at 16 on my credit card. I'd love to pay off, but
Right.
that's the horse of another color too.
Okay.
At that point in time, and to be perfectly honest with you, at that point in time, if I don't walk away with no more than $2,000 just to say, okay, I made a little bit of money, it puts me back to square one, to where I can say, you know what, I can stick my head out the door and breathe fresh air,
Right.
instead of worrying about who's going to slap me in the head when I walk out the door.
Right.
So that
Sometimes back to square one allows you to step out on your porch and smile when the sun's shining, as opposed to, where you're still.
And a lot of people don't, and a lot of people don't understand that. They just don't understand. Well, why don't you want to make more money? I can't make any more money. This is what I'm stuck with. My disability,
my Social Security, it'll never go anymore. I can't sign anymore. The way that I think, at least how my brain works, and sometimes how I try to position it too, like sometimes making $0 is making money, because in the alternative scenario situation, somebody might be writing a check for $15,000-$20,000 to sell a property, pay off all their debt and everything else. So to walk away from closing and not have to pay any money is making 15 or 20. I still got that in my pocket that I didn't have to spend, that I can now use that for whatever else I want. So I'll let Dan run the numbers on what he can actually pay at closing and all that kind of stuff. But
what I was going to ask you, though, sir, was because I was going to ask you about the debt to income ratio and how that was going to work when I go, because it still shows on my credit report.
yes, sir. But
When I go to do a conventional, I know you said there'll be paperwork, blah, 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 blah. But again, between that and I looked at it as quote owner financing, I know it's probably the wrong words to use.
oh, you're good.
But at that point in time, when it's all said and done, and Mr. Dan says, he could probably do all this within 3 and 5 years top.
For sure.
When we do the paperwork, can we basically do like what I did with my first home? I did what they call a land in lieu, and you had to pay X amount of dollars, and you had to refinance and do all of this in a certain amount of time. Is that something similar to what we're talking about, or it's just whenever?
I will let, so I believe what you're referencing is a deed in lieu?
I guess, I don't know. Like I said, this was back in '79 when I bought my first house. Come on now.
Good lordy. Only a few things have changed since then, right?
Just one or two, not many.
Yeah, I can't really think of much off the top of my head of what's changed since then. But what I will say, and you asking that question is, again, not uncommon, right? You want to kind of give yourself a time window in your head. You want that light at the end of the tunnel, like, all right, when is this going to be done?
Yeah.
I will say again that most likely this would be done in that. I'd have to run my numbers. My only concern with I reference that as a balloon, right? Like a balloon payment. What you're asking for is, hey, we're going to do.
Okay.
Yeah,
I understand that. Okay.
You ever hear of like a commercial financing where it's a 5-year arm or a 7-year arm where you're
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we're referencing here. So my only concern with doing structures like that. Now again, man to man, this will probably be done in 3 to 6 years, refinance or sell, right? But the only concern about doing balloons in these types of scenarios, right? We're purchasing a low to no equity property. On day one, we pretty much don't have much, or if at all, any equity in that property on day one. And we'll put money in your pocket, we'll pay closing costs, we'll do all that fun stuff.
Right.
Now, if I'm having a great conversation with you right now, right? I want to remain in these good tiers over the next few years. Now, if I tell you, Peter, I'm going to pay this thing off in 3 years, and I'm going to put that in the contract, I'm going to pay you off in 3 years, right? And me and you are talking, having a good time over those 3 years. 3 years comes, the market didn't do what I was hoping it would do. The interest rates would go where they were. Yeah, the market fell a little bit, got soft. Interest rates didn't go where I thought they were going to go. Now I have to have that hard conversation with you, like, Peter, I know we have that in agreement. I know I promised. I know I did all these things, but I do not have a safe exit in that scenario. And what I don't want to do is put something in place that's going to make me not want to purchase this deal, right? Because I don't want to put you in a position where I say, hey, I'm going to pay you off in 3 years or 4 years. We'll put it in a contract, and then I can't. Now, you'll get a property back in 3, 4, 5 years at that point, because I can't pay you off. So you're going to get the property back. You might be in a good position. Now you got the property back. You got 3, 4, 5 years of market appreciation potentially. Might be a good thing for you, but it might be a bad thing for you. And I don't want to do a bad thing to you in that scenario. So
because that would put me in a point where I can't pay either property and I lose them both.
Exactly. Because your situation now is you're selling this, or you're going to do a deal with us to go buy another property. So now, yeah, you might have some equity in this property if you get it back in 5 years, but you got a whole nother house and a whole nother note and obligation and expenses and now you got this property coming back on your plate. So I don't want to do that to you. So if I'm forced to do a balloon, I likely won't say. I would respectfully probably decline the deal at that point, because I just want to put myself in that position, and I don't want to potentially put you in that position. So I would rather explore the, like I said, 3 to 6 years. You can look it up. I can send you information. Like, you can probably attest yourself. You can talk to all your friends, family. Like, usually you're selling that house within 3 to 6 years. You're moving to a new neighborhood, whatever, and you're probably refinancing that same period of time. We could probably all agree on that. But to put that in the actual contract, I probably wouldn't feel comfortable with it. And I would have to probably decline the offer at that point, and I don't want to do that to you. So I'd like to still stay in the game, and I'd still like to do this deal.
I understand. I would just ask you the question. You know, I'd be a stupid fool if I didn't ask the question.
Of course. No, I want you to ask all the questions that you have questions on. So I want you, again, I want to be at the closing table with you and feel good about this and feel like you asked all your questions and you have nothing left to ask. And, you know, when you go buy that new house and you're living in it, you're not going to wake up in the middle of the night and go, oh, shit, I forgot to ask Dan and Matt this question. You know, I want this to be a good thing. So I appreciate the questions. And so for me, that's pretty much it on my side. Dan's going to be the numbers guy in terms of what he can actually offer. But in terms of the actual structure, you know, is there anything else that I can help with in terms of details or anything else like that? I'd love to get this deal done. I'd love to ship my dogs to you in a U-Haul, go jump in your pool while you train them. You know, anything else I can do.
Basically, what I was going to say, when I go to, like, say, Suncoast and do what do you call it, conventional loan.
Yes, sir.
That'd be about the only way I would go do it. Then I could ask them, tell them, because I'm writing these things down as we go to when I go, because I'm very scatterbrained. Most Marines are. And when I get there, then I could tell them I'm looking at what's the word that you use for the loan that we're doing.
Here's what I would like to do, and again, it's a free world, right? You're a veteran, you serve this country, and for that, we have the abilities and options to do whatever we want, right? Freedom. You have the freedom to use whatever lender you want to use. What I would love to do is at least connect you with my lender, so that way he can talk to you about the actual logistics of it, explain the process, and then you can use him if you want, but he's a great resource in explaining what we're doing, explaining the lending side of things. He'll tell you your options. And then if you want to go use whoever else you want to use, 100%. But I don't get paid for referring him or anything else like that. I just do business with him, and he's great at explaining what we're actually doing and how we're structuring it and answering any of those questions on the backside, what loan products you would have available to you, what that cost potentially is going to be to you. And then again, if you want to go use somebody else, absolutely. But I'd love to connect you. His name is Matt Bell. I can connect you guys on an email or phone call, whatever you'd like to do. And then he can run over it.
I don't do emails. Don't.
Yeah. You know what? I've been talking to you long enough. I said email, and I was like, I don't think Skeeter's gonna want to send an email. So I'm gonna plug you in with a phone call with him. I'll have Dan coordinate something, and then he'll call you.
And the other question I have with this gentleman, the other question I have for you is, I probably won't stay in the state of Florida. So I'm looking at either North Carolina or Tennessee. Somewhere that way.
I'm in Tennessee. Let's go. I don't have a pool like you do. I'll take you in.
Where are you at, Tennessee?
I'm 30 minutes outside Nashville, just south.
South. Okay. I was looking at a place. Looking for. You could probably help me out. East of Nashville, kind of north of Chattanooga, and west of Knoxville. I think it's in the top corner.
Yeah, man. My wife's cousin, her girl cousin, just visited us 2 days ago. She lived in Chattanooga for 3 years. She moved out. She's in Dallas right now, outside Dallas, and then she's actually coming back to Chattanooga or somewhere around Chattanooga, around that radius. So that market is great. She made $250,000 on her house. She lived there for 3 years out there. Chattanooga's a great market. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I was raised on a dairy farm. I know that's a little bit out of whack. I'm sorry, Mr. Dan, you had to sit here and listen to all this. I apologize.
No, it's all good. It's all good. No, hey.
I was raised at a dairy farm in upstate New York in the Finger Lakes. And I've been in Florida, and we have 2 seasons, hot and hotter. Mm-hmm.
It's hot today.
Well, how is it today?
I said it's hot. It's hot today. I went for a walk this morning. I was sweating this morning, but I'm a little bit farther south than you.
You're in Miami?
Yeah, I'm in Miami. Yeah.
I'm up dead across from you. I'm identical dead across from you.
That's probably true. Yeah, you're probably straight across the state. Yeah, that's right. I forget about that. Straight across Alligator Alley.
Going north.
Right.
So you're not that far off.
That's true.
But anyhow, I'm looking for a place somewhere in Tennessee, like if you take Nashville and go all the way across, and I think it's Chattanooga that's in the top right over by Pigeon Forge.
Yes, sir. Yeah, Chattanooga and Knoxville.
Knoxville, yeah. Okay, so Chattanooga's in the bottom, Knoxville, and then Nashville. I want to go somewhere in the middle there and pick up about 2 or 3 acre piece of property with a house on it, somewhere in 200,000. I think it's divided on that.
I'm used to saying come on down, but you'd be coming up. So come on up. We got all 14 for you. We got some land. We got some land for you. But what I will say is, and Matt Bell can attest to this, and I'm not a licensed lender, so I'm not going to speak on it. But because you're moving out of state and you're moving so far away from the subject property, you may open yourself up to the possibility of getting another low down payment type of loan product, like an FHA or something similar. FHA allows you to have 2 FHAs in your name so long as you meet specific requirements. One of those is being 250 or 500 miles or more away from that property. Like if you are moving for work or relocating out of state. So with you actually leaving the state, you may actually open yourself up for more loan options than maybe what you originally thought was possible. So
really?
Again,
okay.
I'll let Matt Bell speak on all of that and what those possibilities are for you, but that is a potential positive for you. So,
okay.
Skeeter, I don't want to take up any more of your time. I value it. I appreciate you being on the phone with me for this long. I hope I answered any questions that you may have had. And I'll let Dan run those numbers of what, he can actually pay and pay at closing and all that kind of stuff. I'd love to do this deal with you. I like doing good business with good people. So the only thing that I would need on my side, if you guys agree on this, is at some point while we're under contract, I would just need those mortgage statements from you, because again, the note that we're creating is going to be mirrored off that underlying debt. So I just need to know what your all-in monthly payments are. Because that's going to be the note payment that we're creating, right? That note payment we're creating is going to be the monthly payments on your property and all that. So at some point, if we get to that point, I'll just need those mortgage statements so I can see those breakdowns. I'll put everything on my side, and then we'll be good. It's pretty much
and
it.
that would be the first and second one. Well, that would be both mortgages and the both liens that are on the house as well, right?
Yes, sir. Just so I can add it all up and have it on my side.
I got all of that, and I'll be up at Chattanooga area around to see you about noon tomorrow. I got after barbecue and a good cold beer.
There we go. I mean, that's about a 2-hour drive. Give me.
It's a 5K discount. 5K discount for barbecue. No, I'm joking.
No gas is expensive in Florida, but it's expensive here too. All right, so if I got to drive out there to meet you, you got to at least pay the first round.
That's not a problem. I'm driving a diesel truck, so I get about 400 miles to a tank.
All righty. Well, it's sold then. So I appreciate it. Like I said, I want to do good business with good people, so I hope we can do this deal together. Any other questions for me, specifically for me, let Dan know. We'll get on another conference call, but I feel good about this. I feel good about, everything we've talked about. Dan will get those numbers over to you, and yeah, man, I hope to do a deal together.
Sounds great. Just have your lender give me a shout. Probably tomorrow midday would be better because I got doctor's appointments tomorrow morning.
Yes,
and maybe he can advise me a little bit more.
Yes, sir. I'm going to send him an email right now, so that way I'm going to see what his books look like for tomorrow, and then I'll have Dan reach out, and then we'll coordinate something for you for probably the afternoon.
Sounds like Woody. Have a blessed day and have a great weekend, young man.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Skeeter. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Skeeter. I'll talk to you tomorrow. All right. Take care, guys. Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Unreal.
Oh, Matt's me. There we
This
go.
is the number one
Oh.
most valuable
Absolutely.
real estate community in existence.
Wow.
We got to see some happy Matts in the chat. That seller was a happy camper. We got to see the happy Matts in the chat. How many people were actually paying attention to that call?
Thank God he was a happy camper, huh?
He's much better today. He might have just been stressed yesterday from the job. So
The call that I heard, the little bit of the call yesterday that I heard, I was like, oh no. And then you're like, you got to help me call this tomorrow. And I was like, oh no. This guy's going to be into me.
I think he also too was in a position where he was like getting tired of just listening to people who don't know what they're kind of talking about in terms of like what they wanted to do with the property. So it was like we gave him like so much information and so much reassurance, and then we're so much more willing to put him in touch with people that establishes that credibility level up front. You know what I mean? I think in that situation, I think it produced a much better, comfortable environment for him because he feels like he's dealing with someone who really understands, rather than someone just pitching out words, throwing this shit out, left and right, and then he doesn't understand, what they're even talking about, what you're even asking for, and therefore he's just been hanging up on people. Like, he's been hunting for that 460, and if he doesn't get that 460, he's just kind of out. He hasn't even really been open to other considerations or other offers. I was the first person. Like yesterday, he was about to put me on a do not disturb. Yesterday, just for the fact that I didn't want to come to the table with 460, and I was just kind of like, I was the first person I think that's actually told him, like, been real with him, right? Like, it's not so much that I'm trying to lowball you. It's more of a factor of like, whoever's telling you this property is going to sell for 460 to 480 isn't telling you accurate information. You know what I mean? Because I think realistically, I know what he's saying, but I only think this property can sell for 380 on market as is. So
when you first gave me that, am I looking at the right property? I didn't know there was $70,000 additional in solar, because just from the HELOC and the mortgage, I was like, oh, he's got equity. He can walk away with like 40 grand or whatever it was at. And then he's like, I got 72,000. That man's got a Tesla on his roof, for solar. It's crazy what they're charging for that.
He might have gotten ripped off by the solar company. Not gonna lie, he might have paid too much.
Like, do you have 2 solar systems up there? Did they double book you? I don't. Yeah. That's a lot of solar up there.
He better be getting paid by the electric company. He better be fucking making a check from the electric company every month. But I don't even know. I don't think he's making any. I don't think he's any money right now. Like, I don't think he's making. I don't think he's making any money right now. So like,
he's screwed. He's not screwed, but he's definitely, again, listing on the market. You're gonna have to pay closing costs, commissions, tax prorations on the property taxes, lender fees, all that kind of stuff. 8 to 10% right there. And how long is it going to take for him to sit on the market? Are there going to be price reductions on top of that as well? So it's just a gamble, man. And it's just when you're already that tight
about how much they put in, and he's obviously factoring, like, you might. The other thing is like, someone puts solar on your roof, you might go to somebody like, I mean, I ain't looking for solar. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna pay fucking an extra 70. An extra 70 for what? For solar panels that I ain't even looking for? Like, you gotta have that buyer that wants solar on their home. And some people just aren't even interested in putting that on. Like, some people aren't even interested because they're not seeing the full value. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't really know what he could sell for on market for. And I think if a realtor truthfully is telling him 460 to 480, if that's true, then they're just trying to get the listing and just see what pops off.
Yes.
They're not being honest with the real value and really being straight. I'm the first person I think that's really been straight up and not pitching it like I'm trying to lowball the dude and then it's just like walking away with whatever. Like, we're the first people that have really taken his issues and his problem into consideration to really, try to move forward with something with him.
I will say, I think that agents can provide a lot of services, right? Like Novations, you guys list with agents that you're listing
No,
on MLS. There's open houses. They can be very resourceful. They have like all of, so it's not, this isn't a knock at agents, but one of the biggest services that I see that agents do in low to no equity scenarios, right? If this person owes $400,000 and this house is only worth 410, and he wants to list on the market with me, I know that after all those fees, this guy's writing a check at closing. So what I'm going to do in the effort of trying to help my client, I'm going to list this for 450, 460, 475, whatever that number is, to try to get him some money at closing. But really what happens most of the time is now it's overpriced day one, and now it's going to sit 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. Now you're doing price reductions to get, now it's 60 to 70 days into that listing. Price reduction, price reduction, price. Now you're finally at where you should have been on day one. But what that buyer is seeing is you've been on the market for 70 days. You've done 5 price reductions. Now you're a motivated seller in their head. And now they're going to try to come in even lower and beat you up because they see how long you've been on the market. So you're only doing more of a disservice in those scenarios by listing higher, which might be in this scenario, he may have disclosed all of that to her or him, whoever the agent was. And so they're going to try to list it for 460 to 480, which might just put him he might sell for even less than what he would have if he's listed it to where it should have been in the first place. That's the one thing I do like about Novations. It seems like the market, what you're listing it for is supposed to be under what the other, you want to be attractive and appealing that first day on the market. I do like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was a good call. I think I don't know what your numbers look like on your side, but I think that's a guy that'll sell.
I'd be
I'll hook him
willing
up
to,
with Matt Bell.
yeah, I think I'd be willing to give him, like I said, I could probably pay off the solar, to tell you the truth, but I don't even know if I want to, because dude, that's such a ripoff, bro. Like for the 70K for the solar is like, that almost makes it like not even, not like me not even wanting to do the deal, because it's just like I got to pay for that shit either way. So it's like eventually, so it's almost like a factor of like, I don't even know if I want to buy this. I don't know. This is actually, this lead came from Dalton Woods' campaign, so I was calling the seller. So I got to talk to him and see what he wants to do with the lead. I don't even know if he'd be willing to even sell it to me, or if I'd want to pay Dalton, an assignment fee, or how he wants to break that down if I were to buy it, or maybe me and Dalton go in together. I don't know what he wants to do. So I got to talk to him about that, and then we got to make sure that you're taken care of as well. So everything has to all fit together. You know what I mean? So
just hit up Matt Bell and let him know that guy's going to want to talk to him tomorrow. So we should be able to get him on the phone tomorrow.
Someone say timeshare?
This is the REI Rev. Is this the REI Rev house? How they have like those the content.
That's where you should do the meetup at.
I was thinking about that $0 down sub 2, but I guess it's already assigned now. Yeah, but that's not going to be the only $0 down deal we work on, Matt. I've got another one.
That's not going to be the only one.
No. I've got a lot of them coming, and I think I'm figuring out something that's working here. So I want to get these closed out, and I just want to double down on what's working, and just kind of forget all the rest of the nonsense. The SMS stuff. That's kind of I think it's better than cold calling, man. I got callers. I got SMS. I just think SMS and PPC is the way to go. That's just my opinion.
It's one of those things. Whether it's PPC, PPL, but
PPL,
inbound is definitely. Yeah, it's the way to go. The way to. You already have the information. When they fill out the form or they call you, and you're able. They called you, so it's a different dynamic. You can position yourself as the professional right off the bat, as opposed to this person who maybe is called them out of nowhere and is bothering them, and they were busy or they were at dinner, whatever the case is. To where now that dynamic is different. The power is in their hand when you're cold calling, and you're like fighting for it the entire conversation. It's like a tug of war. You're trying to get it on your side, but it keeps going back, and it's exhausting. And then PPC, PPL, all of that, it's like the power can be potentially on your side right away, and it's your job not to lose the power. Position yourself
always
as a
is.
professional during that conversation.
It always is, because they're reaching out
Yeah.
for help. They need your help. And the same thing goes with the text messages. Anybody that responds back to a text is typically interested in entertaining that type of conversation. So it's like a whole different dynamic than cold calling. So I've got callers. I'm hoping that I can make something of some of the leads that are coming in on a daily basis, but I don't see it happening, man.
Yeah, my PPC company just followed up with me this morning. They want to increase my budget because my leads are limited by my budget, they're saying. So I gotta talk about increasing it. So we gotta jump up a little bit.
Spend some more money, Matt. Double up.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, dude, we're still within the 2 week. We haven't even run it for 2 weeks.
What is Matt? What is
already
Matt
went
Riley
through the
afraid?
budget?
Matt's got it.
Oh, no. But what I wanted to do was, because it's a new company to me. So what I wanted to do was to test it out for 90 days, see the results, see their customer service, see all of these things before I, start dumping serious money into it. But right now the budget's 4K and they want to increase it to 5K. I'm guessing they want to increase it to 5K. Which is fine, but again, I wanted to see the data, see the results first to make sure that I'm spending it with the right company, the right people, the right everything. So, let's see.
What you
I hear
waiting
you
for?
on that.
Ball out. You got it.
Yeah. Hold on, let me reach in this pocket over here.
Take it from one pocket, put
okay.
another pocket, man. That's what he taught me. You take the money
Left to right.
out of one pocket,
Left to
you put
right.
it in the other pocket. But
To right.
I'm with you on that, man. I've spent like $3,500 with this company, and then we've already assigned one, so that's already positive. I mean, if we can just assign 2, that's incredible. And then, I'm working on one more, so we'll see what happens. And then I've got a couple of leads that haven't responded, so we're gonna test out their refund policy. And if they are, above board and everything's good, I'll start telling people about it. But I also kind of want to keep it down low because of the way it's structured. It's not just for anybody.
Are you working on a third one the one that we assigned, the second one that's outside of Austin, and there's a third one as well?
This one's probably not going to be creative. It's probably going to be innovation or cash. But yeah, they're good, man. The leads
Either
are
way.
good so far.
Either way.
Can't complain. Google, man. I've tried Facebook. I've done SMS. I think Google ads and SMS are the highest performing in my experience. I mean, I've never seen this kind of conversion, dude. Like, I picked up the phone, and I had to pay a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. I had to pay a lot of money, but I picked up the phone. I got on the phone with somebody that needed to sell. I knew how to, diagnose their problem. And because, I was in proximity with somebody like Mr. Rinse and Repeat, Mr. Matt Riley, here in the Discord, that's going to turn into a $16K check. So only on the first one.
Those paid phone calls hit different, huh?
Oh man, when you're on the phone and you paid to get on that phone, you better believe that's a different type of conversation. A different type of beast is on the phone when you paid $600 to be on that phone call. All right? Is 2K enough? No.
Get your money up.
Yup. Or
Yep.
risk a little bit of that credit. You know what I'm saying? Tap into that credit line. Go take out a HELOC.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, go. I mean, you can. You got an LLC. Go get a business
so
credit
true.
card. 0%. 12 to 15 months is 0%. But don't think of it as free money. 0% for 12 to 15 months. But whatever you got on there at the end of 12 or 15 months, it's going to have 25 or 30% interest on there. So, man, good plan.
I like that. I totally forgot about that.
Good game.
I need to go ahead and get a business credit card set up and everything. But listen, y'all.
Steve,
let's talk after the show so we can get this figured out.
Yep.
Hey.
What'd you say, Matt?
Okay. Talking to you or me?
What? What?
Damn,
What?
sorry,
But
it's all-
I mean,
Talking to who? Okay.
I'll
Steve
pay.
asked how the call went.
I'll pay you. Don't worry, man. I got you covered.
Oh, I'm not worried. I didn't know. I couldn't hear what you said when you said talk after the show. I was like,
Relax.
is it
Relax. No.
writing out my invoice right now? I just wanted to know.
You and everybody else send an invoice to my email. Everybody wants my money. No,
broke your stripe.
Yeah, must dust. Yeah, that's not even funny. We don't joke about that.
Oh,
we don't joke about that. That's not.
I'm gonna reel that one back in.
Yeah.
listen, ladies
Reel
and
that one back.
gentlemen. I can't stress this enough. I feel like, as of recently, I don't know what's changing, but I feel like the calls are getting better and better. I feel like this has just kind of evolved into something really awesome, and it's really cool to see people hop up on the stage, talk about what's going on in their business, and really do this. So, listen, y'all, this is the #1 most valuable real estate community, hands down, in existence. And if you haven't invited somebody to be a part of this community and be a part of this revolution, you're doing yourself a disservice and everybody you know that's in real estate a disservice. So send them that link. Discord.gg/REI Rev.
And I'm doing live calls for a little bit, all right? I don't like them.
You don't like them?
No.
You don't like the
Don't like
pressure? What's going on here?
This is the only time that I had today. This is the only time that I had today.
No, I know. I just don't. I did it with John. I did it with Dan. Like, I don't like it.
Listen, Matt.
I don't know
Listen, Matt. Our calls are a movie. It'd be a shame to not let these people watch.
It's the truth.
I don't like it for some reason. I don't know why. But so far, two for two on both calls. So I mean, we're doing something right. You guys, it's not so much you guys, like, those are just fantastic leads. Like what you guys both sent over. Like Skeeter was in a great mood today. He's a motivated seller. John Seller, motivated.
I think one thing was yesterday is he could tell I wasn't fucking around. And it was like I made sure to say, hey, because he was trying to get off the phone with me towards the end right there in a little bit, because I was handling all the objections like too well for him, because I think he was sometimes people are at a point, what you guys have to understand is sometimes people get to a point where they actually self-sabotage because they're so afraid that when someone starts saying the right shit that it's too good to be true. So they'll actually self-sabotage the situation and just avoid the problem entirely rather than trying to face it head on, because they're in a position where they're afraid that anything that, if someone's answering them the questions left and right, since that never happens, then what they do instead is they just try to get off the phone because they get nervous. Right. And so they'll actually potentially self-sabotage the whole thing. So I didn't let him go. And that was the big draw back into things. Cause I was just like, I said, hey, I'm sorry. I don't want to disturb you right now. I understand you got other things to do. How about we just talk tomorrow? Can I talk to you tomorrow when you have time? And then he kind of pulled back in a little bit. He said, yeah, if you really want to talk to me, you can call me back anytime between 8 a.m. and 12 and 12. And he probably thought I wasn't going to call him today. He probably thought I was just going to be like everybody else and not show back up. And not only did I call him back today, but I brought in an expert that really made the whole process seem like a real situation to him, that he was like, oh, hey, not only is this guy really serious about getting his attorney in contact with me, but now he's serious about putting this expert who's going to spend his time. I mean, at first I just asked him, I said, hey, you got 15 minutes to talk? He said, yeah, I got 15 minutes. That turned into almost a 40-minute phone call. Just asking him for 15 minutes, he was just ready to run and talk, and now he scheduled the call for tomorrow himself. He said, could you have your guy give me a call for tomorrow? He said that yesterday he didn't even want to stay on the phone. So that just shows you, I made sure that I set those appointments, right? We're not trying to rush him into a contract. We're not trying to rush him into any kind of situation, because he's not the kind of person that you need to rush or else he's gone. He's the kind of person that he needs to really feel 100% comfortable with you before he signs anything. And he's the type of person that's not just going to, move forward with just anybody. So he's not really like what I call a flight risk seller. Right, but it's like those crackheads and stuff you talk to on the phone. Those are flight risk sellers. You got to put down EMD immediately. You got to open up escrow right away so they don't try to go around you on a back end contract to somebody else. Like, there's certain people, but you have to learn how to get intuitive with those phone calls and those type of people. And here's the reality is you don't get that. That's not a skill that I can teach you. It's not a skill that it's not a skill that you're going to learn listening to our calls. It's only a skill that you're going to develop if you pick up the phone and fucking get to work. So quit worrying about markets, quit worrying about how many homes have sold in this market, that market. Oh, what's the best market research when you never even done a deal. You haven't even applied the skill set and actually built the skill set necessary in order to build a real business yet and to really establish yourself as an expert. So quit worrying about the details right now. Pick up the phone, build the experience of talking to people and learn how to identify certain people, how to identify certain levels of motivation, how to identify certain sellers, how to talk to every different type of person. And eventually you're going to get into a niche that you just fit in real well. You're going to say, oh, hey, this is it. But don't go into something saying, oh, I want to do this because I like this. I have an interest in this. That might be the original, like the initial thing. But I guarantee you that Matt Riley didn't get into this business thinking that I'm going to be a creative expert. He got into this business saying, I just want to be involved in real estate. Right. So, and then it kind of later spiraled into where he's at now. But a lot of you are too worried about the details right now, and that's preventing you from picking up the phone and talking to multiple people a day. Therefore, you never close a deal, and that's limiting your success more than the skill set that you haven't built.
Start with one call. Talk to one person. Focus on the person you're on the phone with. Like, break it down. Just like what Dan is saying, we don't always have to think 10 years out. We go, oh, I'm going to be here. A lot of us probably didn't imagine, when we were 10 years younger, that we'd be in the position that we are today. Exactly, exactly how it is. But if we can just focus on that next step, making that next call, shooting that next offer, locking up that next deal, we're going to get so much further than if we just sit around procrastinating, worrying about what could go wrong. We're not even getting started.
Quit JV in your acquisitions. Quit JV in your acquisitions. If you want to JV anything, JV dispositions, but quit JV in your acquisitions. Quit messaging me on the side channels and stuff to say, hey, can you help me talk to this seller? It ain't servicing you in any way. I'm telling you right now, it's not doing anything for you at all. You're not learning anything. The only thing you're learning is how to pick up a phone and identify that someone might be interested in selling their home. That's not a skill. So quit trying to JV your acquisitions. If you want to JV with me or my team or anybody who's in my vicinity, we have a rule now where unless you're like really close to me, you got to close 3 deals or more by yourself before I'll even consider JVing with you, because I'm not JVing in order to walk people through a deal. That's not what a JV is. A JV is you bring something to the table, I bring something to the table, we do this together, we split the transaction. So, but quit JVing your acquisitions. You don't need to JV your acquisitions. You don't need to pay someone else to call. You need to learn this business, the in and outs, however you want to do it. So therefore, if you don't do that, you're always going to be stuck in the same position, right? So there's those particular situations where like, hey, maybe I bring a creative expert on. Maybe I bring someone on when I've sit there and I've built that rapport. I've built that response, right? Like I've built all that on the phone already. So therefore, I built this connection. I built the trust yesterday. I already established that there was a credible situation there. I'm not bringing Matt into a situation where he doesn't know, he's going to come into a situation. He has to rework the whole entire deal from bottom to top, right? Or I've never even talked to the seller. Oh yeah, this guy just mentioned he's interested in selling his home. Can you call and see if this is a deal? I already knew this was a deal. I knew this was a deal yesterday. I just knew he needed a little bit more information on the back end. And if you can do that, but quit just seeing a text message and somebody responds with yes, motherfucker, if you don't pick up the phone and call that person 15 times to get them on the phone, I don't know what you're doing. Why are you even running a campaign? But some of you guys, I'll be doing audits on the CRM, and I'll see some of you guys got yes. There's no calls, no responses. What the fuck? You got people responding left and right. I'm almost tempted to fucking call their ass. I'm about to. If you guys don't fucking start responding back and start fucking calling them 15 fucking times to get them on the phone, I'm gonna fucking start taking your leads. That's my threat right now. You don't fucking start doing this shit, I'm gonna fucking start taking your leads. So I better not fucking be auditing any of your accounts, checking your SMS, and I see a bunch of fucking yes, call me's, and all this shit, and ain't nobody fucking picking up the phone and getting to work. Bullshit. You're wasting your money, you're wasting your time, and you're wasting sellers' times. Get the fuck on the phone. Quit being afraid. You can't fuck up. You can't go from 0 to negative. If you're starting from 0, you can't get any worse. You can't fucking fail. So quit being afraid to pick up the fucking phone.
100%. Like my success rate will be higher because of my ability to be on the phone, like more so than choosing the, like you were saying, choosing the market, which market has the most transactions, or which is it hot market, or is this a good market? I will always have more closings and more transactions because I'm picking up the phone and actually getting on the phone with people, talking to them, having the conversations that everybody just witnessed right here. And that type of conversation only existed because of the amount of times that I've been on the phone talking to people, going over scenarios with them. And the reason I agreed to do the call is A, because it was Dan, but B, I didn't even have to run numbers with that guy. Dan had already discussed all those numbers on his side. I only needed to come in and talk about the structure. What are we actually trying to do and accomplish here? And you heard me say it several times. I'm like, I'm gonna let Dan tell you what the numbers are, what your cash to close, all of that kind of stuff. I don't need to worry about it because Dan already took care of it. So for me, that's a way easier conversation for me to have. And I'm much more willing to get on the phone with that person because Dan took care of more than 50% of the work already. Not only did he go over the numbers with this guy, but he already opened up his mind to the potential structure that we were taking place. I just needed to come in and actually outline what that the structure already, what it actually is. That person I'm much more able and willing to do it with than, somebody sent me something the other day and I was like, well, are they open to it? And basically, they said, yes, just send us over something. And I'm like, no, I have too much in the pipeline, too much, working with Sam and Jordan and everything, like I'm not trying to pressure people into do shit right now. Like if you can get them to a certain point where they've agreed to it, you've talked structure, they said, yeah, they're open to it all. And now you want to send it to me and have conversations like you've witnessed me having in this. I got no problems with that. You sent out a random text that was like, would they be open to terms? And they just respond back like, seller's willing to look at anything or send us over your offer. I'm not, no. And it's a waste of my time and it's probably a waste of your time as well. That's not doing work. You sending out a thinly veiled text message to a seller and agent, hey, would they be open at 123 Main Street? Would they be open to creative or terms or whatever you want to say? And they say, send us over an offer. You're not doing anything. Like that's not real. Like pick up the phone, like Dan was saying, have that conversation. You're wasting your time if you just send them an offer just for them to turn around and say no because you didn't build any rapport. They don't even know what you're even trying to offer, what the structure is. Pick up the phone.
I don't have time. I don't have time to call your. I don't have time to call your yes responses, but I don't even know if it's qualified, right? Like, listen, I don't have time to call your leads. That was a joke, but I don't have time to do that. But I want you all to feel the fear of what I'm saying behind my voice, but what I will do is I will start fucking calling out. If I fucking go through the audit, we go through the audits every Friday now for SMS. And what I will do, if I go into your fucking account and I see yeses and yeses and yeses and call me's, and y'all ain't fucking responding, y'all ain't closing deals, I'm gonna come back on Monday. I'm gonna come back on Monday and I'm gonna have a list of who ain't fucking calling their leads. And I'm gonna say, hey, who wants to call these people back? I got this person. So you better not. If you don't want me to call you out on Monday morning on Coffee with Closers in front of 100 and some people, you better fucking come correct inside of your CRM because I'm gonna be looking on Friday, and if I don't see the leads being responded to and called to, we gonna start calling people out inside the audience, and we're gonna see, and then I guarantee you're gonna start calling them because you don't want to be that individual that ain't winning just because they ain't trying. Because in this business, I promise you, the only reason y'all ain't winning is because you really ain't trying that hard. You try hard enough with everything in you, you will eventually fucking win in this industry. So, y'all don't want me to sit here and start fucking calling you guys out. So I guarantee you there better be a lot more calls. And I don't want to see just one little call, one little text. If somebody responds with yes, fucking wear their ass out. What do you have to lose? They go block your number? So what? You got more numbers. You can buy as many as you want. So there isn't no excuse. There is no excuse. And if I don't see it, I'm gonna start calling it out left and right. That's what we're gonna start doing because we ain't getting anywhere with no accountability. This is your accountability at call to action right now. If you don't start calling you inside of my platform, then I'm gonna call you out. And then we're gonna see what happens. Then we're gonna start auctioning your leads off to people inside the call. Hey, who wants this? Steve, you want this lead? I got a lead over here. I got a lead over here in Texas. Ain't nobody called it yet. You want this lead? John, you want this lead? Steve wants those leads. John wants those leads. They're ready to call. Are you guys gonna call, or somebody's gonna call? We gonna get somebody to call.
Somebody gonna call.
Somebody
sure
go call.
Make sure it's you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm ready, man. I'm ready to get onto the phones. I'm ready to start the day. Listen, man. You gotta invite somebody. You gotta invite somebody. I'm at a loss for words, man. I don't have anything else to add. Dan, I think he said it very well. You got to get on the phone. So let's get on the phone, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Discord.gg/REI Rev. Follow us on YouTube, Instagram. Somebody said in the chat that they want to see these cut up and thrown all over social media. I really feel like we need to get them cut up. Somebody help me with that. I got a Opal account. Just don't do it. So somebody cut it up, send it to me, get it live. Thank you, Matt. We'll be in touch. Love y'all. REI Rev #1. All right. Deuces.